Welcome to my channel. My name is Amar. This is Authentic Self Guide, the place that guides you to becoming your true authentic self. In this video today, I'll be talking about physical aches and pains that we experience during our spiritual awakening. The main purpose behind me making this video is because it's something that I have been experiencing for a lot of years and I'm still experiencing, and I've learned a little bit about this subject, which is what I want to share with you because it can hopefully help you move through this resistance easier. So to begin with, I'll be telling you a little bit about the things I've struggled with in this area, then getting into why this even happens, where the pain comes from, and then finally what you can do to just make it a little bit smoother. Now, to begin with, I just want to give a disclaimer and say that if you have any problems, health problems, please go and visit a doctor or health professional first. My advice in this video is not medical advice, and go and get the all clear from the doctor before you consider what I'm about to suggest in this video. Okay, so first up, just quickly, let me explain my symptoms. So I've been working on myself for about 9 years, and in that time I've experienced different various aches and pains. For me, a lot of them have come from my chest area and this solar plexus digestive area. I've had a lot of problems in these areas. I have been to doctors, I've had all kinds of tests done. Every time the results come back, everything I'm told is normal. So I assumed that I had created these illnesses because I was anxious at that time and I manifested them myself, or they simply weren't real. Now, having gone through a spiritual awakening, I have begun to see things from a different perspective and reading new information and understanding that these pains may actually be real and they are a symptom of my growth. Now, before I get into why they occur, I just want to very quickly touch on how unresolved emotions can actually lead to physical illness and disease. So there's evidence coming out now which suggests that we keep hold of traumas and emotions and they remain unresolved, and over time they manifest themselves as disease, basically. So for example, let's take men. Men in comparison to women seem to have more heart attacks. Now, the generations that have gone just recently, men were great at expressing their emotions. They would usually repress, hide what they were feeling because that's what it was considered to be a man. Now, it's no real surprise that men are having more heart attacks because they've never allowed that emotion, that energy to really come out of them. And by hiding it, it's possible that it has contributed to the development of heart disease within them as well. Unresolved emotions may also contribute to other serious illnesses such as cancer. If we have unresolved stuff in our body, it may eventually lead to some of these more serious conditions. So doing this work is very, very important, not just to your emotional and psychological well-being, but also to your physical health. Now, let me get into why this occurs. So firstly, I just want to kind of take it back to when you're first born. You're this authentic self. As the years go by, you start to be socialized and you split off and you become this individual ego. And as you split off and you create this identity of who you think you are, what the mind does is the mind creates a energetic structure in your body which reinforces how you feel about yourself. So for instance, if you grow up and you have suffered some kind of abuse or trauma, then maybe you have developed a weak sense of self. Now that weak sense of self will manifest itself in your body. Your brain will program your emotions, your muscular system, your bones, your skeletal system, your energy, everything based on this feeling of low self-worth. So over time you may naturally keep your head down, you see, because the muscles in that area have manifested how you feel about yourself. So a great analogy I like, which helps depict what I'm trying to say, is if we take the example of you go to the doctors when you've broken a limb. Now the doctor will put a cast on your limb, and let's say the arm for instance. So what happens then is that the cast will set and it will take the shape of the limb that it was on. In exactly the same way, our body will take on this energetic structure of what our mind thinks we are. And in that, it will also store traumas and negative experiences. And these are the things that cause our pain. So, like I said, if you've had any negative experience, even accidents and trauma, abuse, anything, it's very likely it has found a home in your body. And we have to begin to transmute it. And transmuting it is what happens when we go through our spiritual awakening. When we start to reach these higher levels of consciousness, these lower levels of energy, like the resistance trapped in your body, can't survive anymore. And it starts to break up, you could say. And in that breaking up, that's where the pain is basically coming from. So what humans tend to do when they experience any aches and pains is that we go to doctors, we seek remedies and medicines, and we want to stop the pain. Naturally, we want to move away from pain and towards pleasure. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, please go to the doctor first. And if they can't find a solution, try to accept that maybe it is something energetic that wants to be released from your body. Instead of resisting it and working against it, allow it to come up. Because if we're working against it, trying to find a solution and get rid of it, a large part of us is trying to wake up and change, and then our conscious aspect is fighting against it. We really want to get on side with what is happening, although I understand that is not as easy as it sounds. So another important aspect of this is we have so much resistance in our bodies. It's passive and active. The things we feel in our bodies now, so I currently have shoulder pain and back pain. This is a indication of what I'm dealing with right now. But there's more passive layers of resistance, which I haven't even got to yet. So I've recently dealt with guilt. I haven't dealt with it completely, but I've released a lot in that area. Now that's led me to a deeper issue, a very deep issue. And I think when I go into this, it's going to start bringing up more different types of pain in my body, which are linked to this trauma. And naturally, like I said, we have to work to transmute it. And our consciousness, increasing awareness will naturally do that. And in transmutation, what we're looking to do is move these energies from a solid state into a more fluid or free state, you could say. So for instance, if we look at ice into water, or a rock into gas, or if you burn anything and it turns into smoke, that is what we're trying to do with these energies. They're old, stagnant, they're at a lower vibration. So by raising our consciousness, we are hoping to transmute them, and they'll actually turn into more positivity, love, creativity, all of that good stuff that we all want more of. Last point to touch on is, how do you accept this pain and work through it in a more healthy, resistance-free way? So very simple. The great thing about these spiritual practices are they're just so simple. There's nothing complex about them. So the first one is quite simply meditation. Just meditate on the pain. And you can even ask it questions. I know this sounds a bit woo-woo, but you can even ask where the pain has come from and what it wants. How can you resolve it? And if you get good at doing this over time, you will actually start to get the answers through your intuition. I know it's a very out there to talk to your body in that way, but if you're not prepared to talk to it, just accept the aches and pains you feel and just go into them. Just be with them, whatever that takes, and gradually you will allow that consciousness into these difficult spots and allow that negativity, that resistance, that energy to begin dissipating and transmuting itself. The other thing you can do is stretching. which is really yoga, but I don't like to use the word yoga because we all have preconceived ideas of what yoga is. But just deep stretching in them areas that give you that are giving you resistance or pain. So for me at the moment, I have a lot of upper to mid back pain, a lot of tension there actually, and I think it's related to my heart because it's on that type of level. So I try to do exercises that really open up the front of my chest and the back of my chest and just really stretch it out. And in that stretching, we allow whatever's in there to just be able to mobilize a bit more, allow that awareness, that presence, that emptiness into these spaces. So gradually they will begin to transmute. Final point is to keep working on these layers. What you'll find is when you've worked on one thing, another layer, something else is going to come up. And try not to shy away from that and understand this is the game. It's not even a game, this is serious work. This is what the work is. It's really getting to the core of these issues. And when you get to the big ones, it may take time, but if you can start to work with the body as well as the rest of the development, then you'll probably transition much smoother. Because the way I see it is, the psychological aspect and emotional aspect of an awakening seems to be a couple of steps ahead, I think, of the physical aspect. With our bodies, we're constantly being reinforced of who we are by reality. We constantly feel like we're cut off. And that makes it more difficult for the body to keep up with the development of the psyche and the emotional aspect. So by doing the stretches and these meditations, I think we allow the physical part to catch up to the rest of our awakening development, you could say. So that is everything I have to share on this topic. So if you are also going through an awakening or have been through one and you experience these aches and pains in your body, please feel free to let me know how you dealt with them. Or if you're going through this now and you have any questions, hit me up and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, if you got anything of value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think this video can help anyone else on their journey, then feel free to share it with them. And if you would like to see more of me talking about these types of subjects, then please hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all of my uploads. But once again, that is everything I have to share. I'll hopefully see you again on the next one. And remember, stop letting the ego control your life, because it will ruin your life. Stay blessed. Thank you.